Hello beautiful people, Stephanie here, and today we're taking a look at two brand new wooden whistles from Compass. They come in these nice pouches, individually wrapped, and they might look a little bit familiar. For those of you with any previous knowledge of wooden whistles, you might notice that these look pretty similar to Tommy Martin's Thornton wooden whistles. And that's because these whistles are actually hybrid whistles. These whistles are combining the brass and Delrin heads of Compass whistles, which offer all the dynamics, the beautiful tone and ease of playability of these whistles, with the scalloped edged holes and wooden body of Tommy Martin Thornton whistles. These tapered wooden bodies and the scalloped holes actually give a really ergonomic design and make whistle playing that little bit easier, but also they give an added texture and interest to the tone of these whistles. Although the majority of the whistle's tone comes from the mouthpiece, the actual body of the whistle is where the sound sort of bounces around a little bit, and the material that the whistle is made from overall can have an effect on its finished sound. These high D whistles are tunable here at the mouthpiece with a brass tuning slide, and they're available in either the rosewood or the olive wood, which are slightly different in colour and feel. You'll be able to see the beautiful details in the wood, that gorgeous natural colour and pattern. And the beveled design combined with the slightly tapered bore actually helps to stabilise the notes over both octaves, giving you better intonation and a better balance between the volume of the notes as well. Now, you might have seen whistles like this available from McNeela as well. Both have strong ties with Tommy Martin and are using his original Thornton design on the bottom in combination with their individual whistle mouthpieces and whistle heads. They're made in completely different places, but using similar approaches to this design. These are retailing at £159 on the Compass Music website. I have linked that in the description down below. I think you can get them on Big Whistle as well, so I'll put the link there as well. They're the same price on Compass and Big Whistle. But yeah, let's take a listen to how they sound naturally, raw, without any effects, and we'll also go through a tuning test and a decibel test on these whistles as well, so you can hear how they sound, test the intonation, and of course find out if they're good for practice or if they're better for sessions. So as you can see and hear from the tuning test, both of these whistles are very well tuned. The intonation over both octaves is fantastic. It's really easy to achieve that perfect pitch. And again, that's partly down to the design of the body of this instrument in combination with the mouthpiece. You needed slightly less pressure for the E and D notes in both the first and second octave, but everything else was a pretty stable, expected and balanced pressure, which I really like. And as you can see from the decibel test, we do have a bit of a range in the volume. We're going from 60s to 80s as we go through the two octaves, which is fairly typical for tin whistle. I'd say as you get into the higher notes, they do have a lot of volume. They have that rich, warm tone to them, but still with that little edge that will cut through. So they could be fantastic session whistles. Maybe not something you'd want to play around the house all the time, especially if you were in an apartment practicing. But if you're getting out and about and you're playing with other musicians, these could be a really great choice. So let's have a listen to how they actually hold a tune. So the big question I have is, can you actually hear the difference between the rosewood and the olive wood? Or do they sound the same to you? It's always difficult across camera, across recording equipment to get the difference in the sound, but I do feel there's something. It's ever so slight, but there is a tiny difference in the feel of the way these play and the sound that comes across. I would say the rosewood is slightly warmer and richer sounding, and the olive wood has got a little bit more edge. But I like that the hybrid design kind of keeps that crisper metal edge. I think it's a really nice idea to combine the two materials and come up with a tunable whistle that's easy to play, stable in both octaves, well-tuned, tunable anyway, and looks fantastic, sounds like a great combination. Yeah, I'm suitably impressed. As a quick comparison between these and the original Tommy Martin design, the Tommy Martin is much lighter, although I do have an African blackwood here, but the mouthpiece is also lighter and the tuning slide is lighter, so it's a generally lighter whistle. It's got a completely different feel to the mouthpiece, although they're very similar in design initially anyway. But it's actually slightly sort of taller, as you can see, and a little bit thicker in the mouth, and it's more rounded at the top as well. But it does have a wider windway, so a lower back pressure, which means you need more air in this whistle to hit the higher notes, but less push. This actually makes the Thornton quite easy to play if you're not used to high back pressure whistles. The higher back pressure of this one definitely feels like more of an effort to hit those higher notes, but it can sometimes afford a bit more of a dynamic range because you've got a little bit more space to play around with before it breaks into the higher notes. This one, the Thornton, is easier maybe to hit those higher notes if you prefer to use a lot of air rather than a lot of push. But I think when you're playing for a longer period of time, the Thornton whistle is probably a bit more air hungry than the new Compass hybrid designs. What the low back pressure whistle does give you though is a more balanced volume through the lower notes and the higher notes, whereas a high back pressure whistle often has much quieter lower notes, but louder higher notes. It's a bit of a trade-off, one or the other, but they're both beautiful looking and sounding whistles. So to finish, I mean, pros and cons for these whistles, I can't really think of any cons. I mean, the wood bodies may need oiling from time to time. A little bottle of sweet almond oil usually does the trick. Also, obviously, best not to leave a wooden whistle in direct sunlight or subject it to too many changes in temperature, but then that goes for most whistles, in fairness. They didn't need a lot of warming up, which I liked, which I'm surprised at as well, although it is a little bit warmer here today. I mean, one downside might be the beveled edge makes it slightly more difficult to play half holes, in my opinion, but I think it's just a case of I'm so used to doing it on a rounded whistle that indent just ever so slightly confuses me. But as I said, for pros, they look gorgeous. They've got a nice weight to them, but the wood actually doesn't make them too heavy. I think it's the metal mouthpiece and the tuning slide that's the heaviest part of these whistles. They're great. The tuning on them is fantastic. I'm really impressed with that. They feel nice, and if you do struggle to find the holes on a whistle, these beveled edges really make a great place for your fingers to fall into on the whistle and find the holes really naturally. They've got great dynamics. They've got a beautiful tone to them. I think they're pretty good. At £159, you get a quality whistle that's definitely going to last, that looks professional, sounds professional, and delivers sound, tuning, and everything else in a very professional way as well. If you would like to find out any more about these whistles, please do go and visit the Compass website, linked in the description down below, or the Big Whistle website. There is also info on there. And if you have any questions, please do let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. Thanks for watching. Happy whistling. I hope this was helpful. I'll also be making a video upcoming on all the different wooden whistles that I have to give you guys a comparison between them as well. So if you're interested, stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Happy whistling, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.